Alright people, my first gen Eclipse is almost there. It's almost ready. I'm still missing ECM link, wideband and boost gauge, and a few T-bolt clamps for boost piping. Otherwise, I got this car about 3 years ago, and when I first tested it, when I put a battery in it, I couldn't get the headlights and stuff to work. The lids wouldn't go up and down and anything like that. So doing all of the research that I needed to do to get this thing on the road and going to the junkyard and blah 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 blah, I found that it was missing the main relay. Got one from the junkyard, so everything works now. I'll actually show you. And for some reason, without the power on, without the key on, the lights will go up and up. So those are working now. They didn't work before. I've got the ECU disconnected. It's sitting on the floorboard. It's ready to crank. I already cranked it over to prime oiling. I'm going to crank it some more before I hook up the injectors and the ECU. But injectors are going to stay disconnected until I get the fuel line cleaned out. This car has been sitting for at least 3 years. That's how long I've had it, and it was sitting for quite a while before that too. So I've got my GM MAF. I've got my temporary MAF translator just to get it started, just to cycle the heat cycle the engine. I need some T-bolt clamps. Otherwise, I'm pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to test fire it today. I called my buddies and all my DSM buddies, and I'm like, dude, get over here. I'm about to start the car for the first time. I cranked it over. It cranks fine. Doesn't sound bad at all. All the spark plugs are in. Nothing's hooked up ECU wise because the ECU isn't hooked up. So it wasn't sending power to the fuel pump, and it wasn't sending power to the injectors or coil. It was just cranking over, running the oil pump. And I got it timed correctly. It was directly set up before I cranked it over, and the dots are in the same orientation. So we should be okay. I cranked it over by hand before putting it in the car, of course. But I'm so super close. I'm so stoked. This car is about to be on the road. I need link, I need a boost gauge, and I need a wideband. I put 5 gallons of E in it because I've got 1200 cc injectors and no tune. So I'm banking on the fact that E needs 30% more fuel. I've got my mass airflow translator set to 1050, which is as high as it goes for the injector size. The only real thing that I need to do to get this thing done is I need to get some brakes, rotors and pads. I don't know about the calipers. I think it's okay. They bled all right. I cleaned those up with some black, and then I'm going to clean them up again and put some red on them after I get the thing actually started. There's just a few problems with body. There's a couple of little dents. Like we tried to pull this one with one of those little Harbor Freight dent pullers. It didn't work real well. I think that one's right on a support. That's going to have to go to paintless dent repair. All the trim needs the rubber taken off and trim blacked. This side is actually okay on this trim piece. On the driver's side, it's pretty dented, and I'm going to either need to get it repaired or replace it. The only real rust on this car is starting on the hood, or on the roof. There's a little bit in the seam here, but not much. It's mostly just surface rust. I need to get that taken care of. I need to get me a DA and some good paper. Take that down and re-flat black it. I'm going to re-flat black everything up top, just like factory, and then I'm going to flat black the hood and the lids. I'm thinking about doing flat black on the trim pieces and the side skirts. The rear bumper, leave this red, but it needs re-clear coated. The clear on this thing is destroyed. A couple little chips and cracks and stuff. I'll show you the trim on the other side that needs to be replaced most likely. I guess before I got the car, somebody was trying to break into it or lock their keys in it. This is gonna have to be Bondo, because I'm not gonna remove that panel to fix that. This is a removable trim piece. This is gonna have to be either replaced or repaired by somebody that does body, and I don't. This side panel, the trim is okay. Not cracked and destroyed. It's just the seam. But just a tiny little bit of chipping and rust on the top. Get that taken care of. I'm about to get this thing started for the first time. I've had this car for 3 years and I haven't driven it. It never ran. It was a shell with lots of parts, pretty much. I need to polish the tail lights like I did the front headlights. Those are actually Hyundai Tiburon rims that I got from Buddy. Thanks, Nolan and TJ for hooking it up. I got my bumper inside. I got it trimmed for my front mount. Front mount's hooked up. There are clamps on everything boost wise except to here. I need 2 clamps here. I need 2 clamps here, and then where else? I need another T-bolt clamp here, and then another T-bolt clamp here, because I've got a T-bolt on this side, not on this side. This side can be easily replaced. I didn't have another one, so we just got it connected with that. And obviously I'm missing a few. This one needs to be replaced. That's boost, that needs a T-bolt. And then all these over here. This side is double T-bolted to the output of the intercooler. This needs 2. These need 2. This needs 1, and that needs 1. So 1 here, 1 there, 2 here, and 2 here. I need 6 T-bolt clamps to have it boost ready. Everything should be okay though. So stoked. I'm not gonna do anything else until my buddies get here, because I want them to run the camera while I'm cranking the car over. And it's gonna be with the Mini Sun most likely, because it's gonna be a little while before they get here, but that's why the Mini Sun is right there. And I parked the car here. So super close. And by the way, all of this stuff was mostly pieced together at different points in time, and a lot of it donated. That's the 14B that came with the car. I think it's a little bit blown. We're gonna see. If it blows blue smoke, we'll know why. The intercooler was a donation from a guy. When I lived in a gated community, he had a 1GB Talon, and he saw my Eclipse after I got it, and he's like, hey man, you want some parts? I'm like, fuck yeah. So he gave me some parts. I got a couple of good head castings. Lots of those parts went into this head casting to make it work. It's been rebuilt, but I will continue and make another video most likely. We're editing them together when we're doing some cranking, sound, and hopefully it fires up tonight, man. So stoked. Can't wait for my buddies to get here.